Hello, Khoi. Okay.
Hi,
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you. Okay, so this is your work.
Yes.
Okay. So how is the experience or how was the experience in doing this one?
What?
How was your experience in doing this one? Did you what is one there would be a difficulty in doing this, or you just did this one just while ago?
It's kind of hard to do. I will have to in the last morning, then in the morning yesterday, then and I found the information of
Uh-huh.
how it work and what the name of each part.
Okay. So that means you were able to research about this one so that you can be able to have an idea on how to do this. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me read that one to you. Okay, so this is your work. So the diagram demonstrates a structure that is used to produce newspapers by, or that the means is through lithography. Okay, so there are 5 stages in total, which begin with inserting paper and ending with the introduction of printed patterns. Okay, so that's there would be stages. So that would be process, right? Okay,
Yes.
so the processes. And then in detail, after being rolled into the cylinder, the plate is moistened by several water rollers and continually colored by a set of ink rollers in the next part. Okay, then, very good. So you use then, but again, after using then, don't forget to use a comma, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So we call the word then, secondly, firstly as what? I hope you can still remember that one. That's a time. What do we call
Mm,
that one? Mar. I hope you can still remember that. It's a time marker, right?
time marker.
Yes. Okay.
It's
So time marker, no, time markers such as
in
then,
in the,
okay, first, second. So those are time markers. Don't forget to put, after the time marker, don't forget to put a comma. So in this particular time marker in here, then, so comma, it is rolled down to where has 3 distinctive cylinders that are associated together, in which circular movement is used as a technique to run the operation. Good. While the ink paper directly passes through the impression cylinder, the role of the cylindrical blanket is to provide the support to fulfill the circle direction motion. Okay? Now, again, why did you separate this one? The other one. Why did you separate this one? Why did you put a, what is one? A space in here? Is there any, why did you put a space? Wherein the your first and the second, you don't put a space. But what about in your final, or we call this one as in the ending part?
yes
Why
in
did you
the
separate this one with a what is one? With a space. You
where is it?
just, yeah, a space like this.
It's
Look at the chart. Okay, you separated this one with a space compared to the first and the second. There would be
Oh,
a gap. There would be a gap in here. So is there any explanation for this? Why is it you put a gap? Why did you not follow the same procedure? Okay, the first and the second.
because I write this on the word, so when I
Ah,
copy,
okay. So you when you copy that one there, so it becomes like that. Okay.
yes.
It's understandable. Okay. But look at this one, your second paragraph in detail. That's correct because you put a comma, right? So in detail, you what is one? You indent, right? You indent in behalf. You indent. But look at your first stanza, the diagram. There's no indentation, right?
Mm.
Okay. Again, if you did not use an indentation, you use the so-called what is one the block form. Okay. Don't use an indentation. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So, yes. So, you should have to adjust this one in detail. If you will not going to put an indentation, so you have to adjust this and maybe you put a space. Okay?
Mm.
You put a space in detail. Okay, just like this one. I'm going to show it to you, huh? I have to copy this one again and send this one to you just for a moment. Okay. If you will not going to use this one like 1 2 3 and then the other one. Okay, but you have to put a something like that and then you move this one above. Okay. Okay, that will be it. And like that. Can you see that? Right,
Mm.
Khoi? Okay, so you
Yes.
put a space in between the first, in between the second, and in between second and the third. Okay, there's another one way on how to do that. You can also use this. You can put an indentation. Same thing with the one that you did on the second paragraph, and then okay, just like this without a space. Can you see that?
Oh,
Right?
yes.
Okay. So if you wanted to put an indentation, so what's the purpose of this? Why do we need to indent them? In order to identify that the diagram from diagram up to patterns, that would be the first paragraph, right? Okay? And then after that one, you have to start again on the second paragraph, indent it again. If you will not going to use a space like the first one, right?
That's it.
Okay? Because if you will, okay, look at this one. I'm going to copy this one without an indentation. So you cannot identify which would be your first and second, just like this. Okay, let me do that one so that we can be able to see the differences. Okay, like this. Look at that. So, okay, please see that one.
I see.
You see it? Oh, see? Oh, look at that. Where's the first paragraph? Where's the second paragraph? See, you've seen the differences, right? It's
Yes.
what is one? It's easy for you to identify. That would be the introduction. It's easy for you to identify the body. It's easy for you to identify the conclusion if you indent. Okay, if you're not going to use a space in between the first, the second, or the third paragraph, well indent so that you will going to what? You will going to see the differences of the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Now, look at the last part that I sent you. Okay. We cannot identify, oh, where's the end of the first paragraph? Where's the end of the second paragraph? So it's hard for you to identify, right, Khoi?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be the difference in using the form or the format in writing. Okay?
Mm. Informal.
Yeah, so that would be the what is one the essence of that one. Why do we need to use the so-called black form or the semi-black form? The first one that I sent to you is a black form. Okay? Because we don't indent, but we just put a space. Okay, in between the first, the second, as well as the third. The second that I sent you is another structure, okay, that we indent, but
Mm.
we don't put a space in between. Okay, the last, we don't know. We don't know which one is the introduction, which one is the body,
Conclusion.
and which one would be the conclusion. Okay. Of course, you can tell that the conclusion is on the subsequently because it's the end.
It's a
Subsequently,
marker.
right? Okay.
Yes.
But what about if you don't know that technique? So it's hard for you to identify, right, Kai? Yes, so that's why that would be the most important thing in using the format in writing. Okay?
Mm.
Okay. This one is a very good process that you did. Why? Because you were able to present it in here. The what? The step-by-step procedure or process on how to what? On how to produce a newspaper using the lithography as the means. Okay? So you were able to explain in here which would be the first process, the second, the third, and the fourth. You weren't able to put the last process into the first process. Okay? Because that's not accepted. Okay, remember, in an IELTS exam, the one who made the questionnaire or the questions are masters Khoi. So whatever would be the questions that they wrote in there, they can, okay? They can explain them to you. So that's why if you will not going to, let's say for example, you're not keen of, let's say, putting the right process, they will going to question you for that. If you were going to contest, no, that's not, because according to my research, the first process would be this one. So you will not, you couldn't contest to them. Why? Because they're masters. They knew what they wrote in there in the exam before they were going to circulate that one. Okay, they already edited that one and they already checked every details of the exam, so you cannot contest to them because they knows it very well. Okay. Okay, so that will be it. So, are you ready for another discussion today?
Okay.
Oh, very
So
good, Koy, huh?
I
Very
think I
good.
will prepare another writing task too.
Oh, would you like?
Yeah, but more simply is really
Okay, we can
very hard.
use other topics in here. Okay, you can choose most simple, please. Actually, okay. If I were you, we have to start to complicated one, Koi. Why? If we will going to do the simplest form or the simplest way, you can do that. Okay. I know you can be able to do that one, but if we will going to study the difficult one, so it's better. Why? Because during the exam, you do have already the know-how on how to do that.
Oh,
Did I make myself did I wait, what is one? Did I it makes sense? Is
sure.
it makes sense? Yeah, it makes
Absolutely.
sense. Why? Because those who are harder one, um actually in the exam, examiners do not give easy questions. Okay? Usually they give difficult questions most of the time because they love that. Okay? As if they don't want students to pass. That's why they don't give an easy question because they love giving difficult question because they are what? They are, what is one? They are analyzing your capacity. If they were going to give examinees a very easy question, so what would be, do you think would be the purpose of giving the exam, right?
Yes.
Because they are gauging every examinees how far you've studied this particular topics. Okay, did you go far beyond that? Okay, or you excel beyond that one, or you are just there in the middle, or you didn't excel. Okay, so
Yes.
that's the purpose of it. Okay, okay, so I'm going to present the presentation now to you. Okay, I hope you can see this one, Koi. Can you see it?
I see.
Yeah. Okay, going back in here, okay, there would be a topics in here, Koi, right? So you were able to present already this one, the process of lithography. Okay? Now, what do you think would be the other? Okay, now, let's start maybe on the process of what is one? Do you know the process of what is one? Do you know the process of applying the IELTS?
Applying the IELTS? What is it?
Yes, there would be process, right? In the application of the IELTS.
Ah, yeah, I get
Do
it.
you know that?
Yeah, I know it.
Really? Oh, we have to write that one. So that would be the topic, the
Mhm.
process of applying the IELTS.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay? Okay. So can you write the process so that you will going to understand what would be the different processes on how to apply the IELTS exam?
Yeah,
Okay?
I get it.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. Oh, that would be easy first, okay? Easy one, and then let's move on to the moderate one, and then after that one, let's move on to the difficult one, okay? Okay, so easy one first. Do you think that's easy for you to do that?
Yes, but I need to find information on it.
That's correct. Okay, you know what? That's the purpose of studying the lesson, Koi. Why?
It's
Because
just
we keep on
ask you
researching. Yeah,
about searching.
yeah, researching. We keep on researching, right? So that's the process of it. Why do we need to study them? Because if we don't know, we have to research, right?
Yes, sure.
But of course, again, you will be accused of libel if you will going to copy word for word. Take note of that, huh? Do not copy the words, okay, from the one that you research, and you will going to what is one? You will going to what am I going to say? You will going to say that that is your work. Okay? So don't do that one because you will be you will be what is one accused of libel.
Mm.
Okay, so
Okay.
you can research, but you can just get the thought, okay, the most important thought of that particular research, and then write that one on your own words. Okay, so that would be it. Actually, making books, Koi, those who are writers, actually they keep on researching. Okay, they keep on researching. That's why, as you can see, there would be bibliography. There would be the so-called at the last part of the book. There would be the so-called who are the let's say the references, right? References. They put the references in there because they uh, get or got an idea of that particular book. So they are not just relying only on one particular book. The many, okay, the more, the merrier. So you can get a lot of information. Okay? Okay, so same thing in here. Keep on researching. If you don't know, research.
Yes.
Okay, but make sure you have to what? You have to what expound that one using your own words,
Sure.
not the words coming from the internet.
Mm. Yes, sir.
Okay, have you seen it? Have you
Yes.
seen it? Okay, the process.
Mm.
There would be process, right, in applying for an IELTS. So again, in writing, you have to use our skills that we had already studied. Remember the so-called markers. Okay, we call that one as, what do we call those? Time markers. Okay, we call this one as time markers.
Because can we find more some uh, interesting topic? Another interesting topic.
Another topic.
Yes.
Okay, let me think of that interesting topic. Okay.
How about the process of submitting a newspaper to the local
The
newspaper?
process of submitting
Yes. Or
submitting a newspaper to
yes.
the editor, editor office. That is what you mean.
Submitting newspaper of a journalist.
Again, come again.
I
Submitting.
mean, submit submitting the newspaper of journalist.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sure. You can use
Mhm.
that one. So, is there any process on how to submit that one?
Yes,
Because,
sure.
of course, I myself, I don't know that one because I'm not a journalist, right?
Yeah, me
But of
too.
course, by by researching, you can be able to know them. Oh, that would be a good idea also.
Do
If
you
there
know?
would be process on how to submit a newspaper to the journalists, well, you can
Yes.
because there would be process. But frankly speaking, I don't know that, right? Because I'm not a journalist. Okay, if you can be able to give me an idea of that, oh, that's the time that I may know that one. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to change the topic.
Mm.
So it's not the process of applying the IELTS, but it's the process of submitting a news. What do you think? Is it a raw material, or the raw the gathering of the news, or is it already the final? What do you think?
Mm.
Because you said it's to the journalists. Okay, so what do you think of that? It's just a raw, right? It's just raw. Okay, raw article first. So maybe you can search about the process of submitting raw articles to the journalists. Do you have that?
Journalist, I guess.
Okay.
No.
But what about the one that you said a while ago? The process of submitting newspaper to the journalist. Do you have that? Have you seen?
Yes, I have seen somewhere else, but now you remind me of that, so I think I can do the writing task now.
Sure.
If
Yeah.
it,
Yes, you may. You can start.
but can we consider it as homework so that we proceed to the next
To the
lesson?
lesson. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Okay.
But
So don't forget
um,
to do that one.
yes,
If you were able to do it, if you're done, you can send to me that one in advance, huh?
yes,
Okay, so that I can also review that one, and during our class we can discuss that. Okay. Okay,
okay.
again, use the format either black form or semi-black. Okay, remember the first and the second format that we had able to send on the Skype. So follow that one. Okay, except the last one. Okay, because the last one is not good to see. There would be no the so-called there would be no beauty in it, right? Because in writing, Khoi, you should have to put also beauty in it. Okay? You don't need to just write and write and write, but you have to put beauty in it also. So how are you going to put beauty? Of course, through following the so-called, sorry, following the so-called the what is one? The art of writing, okay? And the so-called uh, the form of writing. Okay, that would be the black or semi-black. Okay, Koi?
Okay.
Okay, so let's proceed with our lesson now, and that is listening part. In this particular lesson or unit, Koi, we will be going to understand the following. So we will be going to identify the attitudes and opinions of speakers through expressions and intonation, whether the speaker is angry, or let's say the speaker is telling the truth, or the speaker is just fooling you. Okay?
Mm.
Through the use of her or his expressions and intonation, you can be able to identify whether the speaker is true to himself or true to herself. Remember that.
Yes.
Aside from that, there would also be body movements, right? If you think the person is very, what is one, engaged with that particular conversation, there would be eye contact, right? If he
Yes.
or she is serious of what he is saying, okay, or wanted to impart to the audience or to the listener, he or she would use proper intonation, not just only the monotone. When we say monotone, it remains the same. There would be no rising and falling intonation. Okay, Khoi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the second is to recognize paraphrases of what speakers say. Okay, of course we can paraphrase that one most of the time. And the last is to understand the role of the distractors when answering multiple choice questions. We do have a lot of distractors actually. There would
Yes.
only be one correct answer. If choices would be up to D, so three of those are distractors and one is the correct answer. Okay?
Yes,
Now,
get it.
how are we going to do that? Of course, we have to use the elimination technique. So I am going to teach you on how to use the elimination technique. Okay, so that the one that remain would be your final answer. Okay, Kai? Okay. Now, let's try to do this one for the lead-in activity that we're going to do. Let's try to listen to the three discussions in here. One, two, three. It's on a particular topic. Okay? In its discussion, in one, there would be choices A, B, or C. There would be topics, right? In its discussion, another topic is also referred to. Choose the main topic in its discussion based on the audio that we will be going to hear. Okay, just for a while, I have to. Okay, it's here. So let's try to listen. So that will be 20.
Track 20. Discussion 1.
All I'm saying is that if this government wins the election tomorrow, I think they'll just continue with the same things they've been doing over the last 5 years and make the economic situation worse in this country. People are already finding it difficult to live with prices going up and salaries staying the same.
I don't think they'll win. People have had enough and are ready to vote for a change. I hope they do. If the other party gets in, it'll be like them winning the World Cup.
Discussion 2.
Yeah, I saw it last night. I think it was really good the way that all the characters were actually well developed and interacted with each other. The danger with that kind of film is that the science fiction aspect just takes over, and you get spaceships and battles with aliens who are trying to take over the Earth.
I'm going to see it tonight. I listened to the review on the radio this afternoon and the critic really liked it, which is unusual because he doesn't usually recommend big commercial projects which just aim to make as much money as possible.
Discussion 3.
Did you see that report on the news tonight? The one about the robot football competition?
Yeah, it was quite amazing. I mean, it wasn't like real football, but it is amazing what they can get machines to do with the right programming these days. I mean, those robots can detect the ball as it moves around the pitch and pass it to each other. And that winning goal was like Messi scoring.
Yeah. I can see it becoming a real money-making business, just like the real thing.
Okay, so we had already heard the different discussions, 1, 2, and 3. Now, in number 1, Khoi, what do you think would be the center of their discussion? It's all about what?
Economics. What? Number
It's
what?
not the economics. Okay, let's try to listen that again.
Oh,
huh?
sorry. Didn't get
Track
it.
20.
Okay. Listen
Discussion
very
1.
carefully.
All I'm saying is that if this government wins the election tomorrow, I think they'll just continue with the same things they've been doing over the last 5 years and make the economic situation worse in this country. People are already finding it difficult to live with prices going up and salaries staying the same.
I don't think they'll win. People have had enough and are ready to vote for a change. I hope
Yes.
they do.
Okay, so I have to stop that one now. So what
Oh,
do you think?
jeez. I sure distracted. Oh, no.
So what do
It's
you
so
think?
easy. How can I mistake it?
Okay, what do you think? They're discussing
So
about
they refer about police. Like, they're
politics. Okay. Actually, they talk about mainly on the politics, but they were just discuss a little bit about the economy of their country. And that economy is part of the so-called the if the politics is let's say for example if the one who is going to govern in that particular economy, so what do you think would happen? So there would be a lot of problems arise. Okay, so they
yes.
talk about politics. What about
Oh,
in
jeez.
discussion two?
Let us see.
Yes, very good. So they
Absolutely.
talk about entertainment usually. Why? Because they talk about the movie, right? Okay,
Yes.
next. What about in three?
That's A.
That's correct. Okay. So it's
Oh,
all about technology and they talk about the robot football. Okay. So there would be a robot football. So they talk about technology. Good job. Okay, Koi. Now, you miss only one. Now, what do you think would be the reason why you missed that?
I think
Because
that
you heard about
economics.
economy, right? So
Yes.
you heard about economy. Now,
I
that
didn't notice
would
at
be,
the
yeah,
first starting. So yes.
yeah. So that would be the thing that you should have to keep in mind, huh?
Yes.
Not all the time that you can hear in the audio would be the correct answer because sometimes they fool us. Okay, they just fool us. Okay, so that's why not all the time that would be the correct answer. So what are you going to do? You have to dig it more deeper understanding. Okay, um the thing that you should have to understand in here, Koi, would be you should have to understand what do you think would be the main point that they are
Talk.
discussing or talking about. Okay? So that would be it. Okay, good job. Next. Now,
Next.
look at these topics and listen to the speakers one, two, and three. So we have been here, huh? Speakers one, two, and where's the three? No, actually, speakers one, two, and three. Identify who has the positive attitude, the negative attitude, and the neutral attitude. Right? Speaker one, speaker two, or speaker three. Now remember, okay,
Okay.
okay, now remember, Koi, we're talking about now attitude. So again, if we're talking about attitude by merely listening, can we be able to identify their attitude by just listening? What do you think? Yes or no?
Sure. We can see
Yes,
the voice,
using
the emotional voice,
that's
right?
correct. Okay. The way they talk. Okay. If they're angry, of course, there would be a very what? A very angry voice and it's rising. Okay.
Yes.
If the person is excited, there would also be rising intonation. If there would be an intense emotion, hello, Koi, you're there. There would be an intense emotion, so there would also be rising intonation. Okay, let's try to listen. Let's identify who has the positive attitude, negative, and just the neutral.
Track 21. Topic 1. Modern art. Speaker 1.
I don't really have much of an opinion about it. As far as I'm concerned, if it appeals to someone, that's fine. If it doesn't, then why should anyone complain about that? Personally, I like some of it, but I'm not really bothered. I can take it or leave it.
Neutral.
Speaker 2.
Well, from what I can see, you have a lot of people looking at it and talking nonsense about how good it is. Then you also have people with too much money and too little sense who are prepared to waste their money on this stuff. It's ridiculous. There's no comparison with the great art of the past few centuries.
Speaker 3.
Oh, I think not enough people appreciate it. They look at it and think, well, my kid could do that. They think that something from the 18th or 19th century is true art, and they don't understand that art develops and changes over time. These artists today are just as skilled and creative as those in the past, and they should be appreciated for what they do.
Okay, let's try to answer now. Have you able to identify who has the positive attitude, the negative attitude, and the neutral attitude? Okay,
Yes.
who has the positive attitude? Speaker 1, 2, or 3?
Speaker 1 is positive. Speaker 3.
Okay, positive is speaker 3. Now, correct. Okay, this one is correct. Why did you say that speaker 3 has the positive attitude?
Because she gave the artist her compliment that they are skillful and creative.
That's correct. So most of the terminologies that she used mostly are all positive. Okay? So a lot it's complement. Okay? So that means without looking or without listening by her voice, we can actually tell that it's positive because all of the words that she used mostly are positive, right?
Yes.
Okay. And look at her voice. There would be also rising and falling intonation as if she's happy. Okay? Okay. Next, of course, the negative one is speaker.
Speaker uh, negative speaker 2.
That's correct. Okay, why is it speaker 2 is negative? What's your what was the thing, okay, that you can say that speaker 2 is negative attitude? Because of
Um, because I heard his voice is so complainable.
angry, right? She
She
is
get
unsatisfied. Actually, she keeps on complaining.
yes.
He keeps on complaining. He doesn't have the what is one satisfying attitude. Okay,
Yes.
mostly of his words are all negative. And look at or listen to the way he speak as if he's angry. Okay? So you can be able to tell that that particular person, the speaker number 2, doesn't have the so-called satisfaction. He is so unsatisfied. Okay? That's why that's his voice. Of course, the last but not the least is speaker 1 is the monotone or the so-called neutral
Typical one.
attitude. Okay? So why is it neutral?
Because she says about C decline and C large, so it's neutral.
Okay, so it's just neutral because she was able to mention about the positive one and the negative one. Okay,
Yes.
that's
Just
why
her
it's
personal
just
taste.
only neutral. Okay, he's in between. Okay, whether negative or positive. That's why speaker 1 is neutral. Okay, and as you can see, the way she talk. She's not excited and she's not also
Or
angry. So that is just only in the neutral tone. Okay?
yes.
Okay. Next, let's try to listen to topic number 2, and the title of this is Combating Climate Change. Let's continue hearing.
Topic 2. Combating climate change. Speaker 1.
It's so important that we tackle this issue head on. We can't let it go on any longer without taking action. All the science shows that it's going to get out of control if we fail to act. The government should be supporting renewable forms of energy, and we really need to reduce our dependence on oil and gas. I just wish other people could see that.
Speaker 2.
There's so much nonsense spoken about it. Really, I can't understand why people get so upset about it. They quote all kinds of studies, but they don't amount to anything real. If you ask me, the climate is getting colder, at least in this country. Look at the amount of snow we had last winter. They just want to scare people for no reason.
What did he say?
Speaker 3.
I'm not really convinced either way, actually. I mean, there are arguments on both sides, but I think it's still too early to tell. Yes, we can see that the weather in different parts of the world is becoming more extreme. But if you ask the climate experts, they never say that it's definitely climate change, and just say they need more time to be sure. So that's where I am at the moment.
Okay. So we have heard their opinion, okay, about combating climate change. And it showed that positive attitude is the
Is
speaker.
speaker 3?
Positive attitude is speaker 1.
What? No.
Yes.
Oh,
Speaker 1, okay?
yes.
Yes.
Because the first one she complaining about her the situation, and then she suggests
Yes.
new solution for that.
That's correct. Okay. Actually, she was
Oh,
able to mention about the problem. Okay, about the
yes.
problem, a lot of problems and arising, but she was able to suggest ways on how to combat climate change, right? So that
Yes.
means although the first idea, okay, is all negative because those are problems she was able to mention, but at least she was able to suggest suggestion, okay, to combat climate change. Okay, who is negative?
Speaker 2.
That's correct. Okay, so speaker 2. Look at this one. Speaker 2 is also negative in topic 1. And
Yes.
now
And
in topic 2, speaker 2 still the negative one. Okay, and the last but not the least, speaker 3 is just only neutral. Okay, now, what do you think would be the, what is one? Why is it you said that speaker 3 is neutral? What's
neutral, the last one.
what's your point of view? Why is it speaker 3 is has a neutral attitude?
Because she says about the problem she had faced up to, then she changed her thoughts. She says, I'm not really something else, so that
Yes, and that's all. She said that, and that's all I can say. Okay, and she's not also tolerating the negative one, and she's not also, but she's also wanted change. Okay, wanted to combat climate change also. So she's just there, neutral. Okay, Koi? Now, we already understood the attitude by just merely listening to the audio. Okay? So, like for example, if your friend telephone you or calls you or call you, you can be able to identify if your friend is angry or not, right? By
yes.
just listening to his or her voice. Okay? Okay. And why is it, children? in school, if the teacher would say, keep quiet, why is it children stops or stop noise making noise? Because they understood that the teacher is angry, right? Okay, so that's the power of
Teacher.
voices. Yeah, that's the power of our voice. If we will be going to use that one, okay, and encourage person or people, so well, we should have to use the power of our voice. Okay? Okay, because voices are so powerful also, even though we can see that person. We just hear the the voice. Okay. Tip number 2. It is important to identify its speaker and understand their attitudes and opinions. Attitude can be shown through, yes, intonation, as well as through the
Direction.
expressions a
The
speaker
uses.
uses. What are those expressions that we had learned out from the discussions?
Mm.
Can you tell me what are those expressions? Actually,
Um,
I heard speaker number 2 in topic 2, he said it's nonsense, right?
it's mean boring attitude.
Yeah, he said that one. It's nonsense. And he
Nonsense.
emphasized it very well. It's nonsense, according to him. So that means that's the expression that he used that's negative, that has a negative impact. Okay? That means it's boring. Okay? That would be it. So again, through the use of intonation and through the use of an expressions, we can be able to identify the attitudes and opinions of that speaker. Okay? So I guess you do understood this one, Khoi. Let's move on. Identifying speakers and their opinions.
Now listen
Okay.
again.
Yes, so you will hear two media study students, Maria and Simon, discussing 3 space expeditions in the news with their tutor, Dr. Anita Thornton. So they are deciding on a study topic. Let's try to listen and identify their final choice. Is it A, B, or C? Let's try to listen. Okay, why is it listening? Because it's a listening part. And take note, Khoi, in an IELTS exam, these the following that we do would also be the same in the exam. Okay? Okay. But actually, there would be a lot of techniques on how to do that.
Track 22.
Hello, Simon.
Hi, Maria.
Okay, what topic do you think we should choose for the project we're starting next week? I think we need to make sure that it's going to last over the next few months so that we can complete the project.
Well, there are several possibilities. Have you heard of the Pluto expedition? The spacecraft is about to arrive there and it's going to send back pictures that we've never seen before. It should be really interesting.
That sounds like a good idea. What do you think, Dr. Thornton?
Well, I'm not so sure about that one. I mean, it's already been going for 10 years, and I think we should look at something which is planned for the future but hasn't started yet. It would give you a better chance to study it in depth and do far more analysis for your monthly update reports.
I don't think that's a problem. There'll be a lot of coverage on the news over the next few weeks.
That's true. But we really need something to last for a few months. On second thoughts, maybe Dr. Thornton's right. Perhaps we should look at something which hasn't started yet. Isn't there something I heard about a new Mars expedition? I think there's a group of people out in America somewhere who are preparing for a trip to Mars.
Yes, it was in the news last week. They've built a sort of camp in the desert in Arizona. There are 10 people living there for 6 months, just like they would be together on the trip to Mars and after they arrive there.
That'd be ideal. 6 months is just right for you. You could follow their progress and how the project develops. From what I know, the Pluto project is already a success, but with the Mars one, you can assess how successful it is as it progresses, and you can write it up for your final report.
Yeah. That sounds promising.
Okay, but before we decide, I'd just like to mention one more. I heard that the Chinese are planning an expedition to the moon.
What? Another man or woman on the moon? That's already been done. I don't think the moon's particularly interesting these days.
Simon has a point. I mean, the Chinese are coming up now, and they've got some new ideas. I don't think they're sending any astronauts. I think it's just an expedition with robots and machines to find the best place to start a colony.
Yes, but I don't think that's particularly interesting. I mean, no one has ever seen Pluto close up, and no one has tried to go to Mars. So I think they'd be more interesting expeditions to do.
You have a point. Perhaps it would be better to focus on one of the other two.
Okay. If you ask me, I'd prefer to see how a group of people get along living together in a difficult situation, like they'll be doing in Arizona in preparation for their trip. I think you'd get far more out of that, but the final decision is yours. What do you think?
I agree. I'd prefer to go for that one.
So that's agreed then. Good. Let's make a start.
Excellent. I'll make a note of that. We'll meet again next Wednesday, and you can give me your project outline. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay. So there would be a lot of topics they were able to mention, right? And those topics are mentioned in here. Pluto expedition, and they were able to explain one by one what's the Pluto expedition all about. And according to their discussion, Pluto expedition has been done already. They someone already did that one, and someone already made a report about Pluto expedition, right? And then they come up with another idea, which is the Mars expedition. And then this Mars expedition, according to them, there would be no someone already reported, okay, about the Mars expedition. But this expedition is still ongoing at this point in time, right? So that's their idea. And they agreed together. Both Simon and Maria agreed together that that would be a good idea to study the Mars expedition. But Simon, okay, also mentioned about the moon expedition, and there would be a group of Chinese astronauts who wanted to study again the moon expedition. And their teacher, their tutor, Dr. Thornton, disagree about the idea because moon expedition has already been done, and there would be a lot of reports already submitted when it comes to the moon expedition. Now, the question is, Khoi, what do their final choice? Is it A, B, or C?
Let it be.
Correct. Okay. Why is it they come up with letter B and they both agreed that one?
Because the order they have because there are people already gone to this, so
Yeah, so there were reports already about that one. Okay,
yes.
so if they will be going to do the Mars expedition, they were the ones who can be able to give first report, right? Yeah, if ever the expedition in the Mars will become successful, so they will be part of that one because they were the one who reported that expedition, right? So it can be an achievement for the students in studying that media. okay, in studying about space and yeah, something like that, right? Okay. Okay. So that would be correct, Khoi. Now, on tomorrow is Sunday. We do have class. Okay. So we will going to continue discussing this one, Khoi. And we will
Yes.
be going to hear them again. And we will going to put, okay, or decide um, if the speakers, okay, says positive, negative, or neutral. Okay, so we will be going to identify their emotions, identify their opinions, and identify their, what's that again? Identify their attitude through that particular discussion. Okay? And that would be by tomorrow. So what date tomorrow? Tomorrow is
9 p.m.
yeah, so
Yes.
February 5, 2023 at
Oh,
9 p.m. in your country,
and when you
right?
say now, I already remember.
Yes. Okay. So just why I put the date here. Okay, Koi. So tomorrow is Sunday and February 5, 2023. Let's have class tomorrow. Okay? So do you
Okay.
have any questions so far?
No question.
Okay, I want to thank you for your time, for your effort, and for the job well done, especially your essay that you submitted to me through the Skype. So keep that up, okay? And then please remember the tips that I gave you on how to write a very good or how to use the format, okay? A very good
Okay.
format for writing, okay?
Hmm.
Okay, so have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night too.
Okay, bye.